making this video in hopes that one of you guys can relate to this, because I feel this on my heart and I had to stop and make this video because I know someone in this life is going through this right now. So realize that if you're going through something difficult in your life and you truly believe that, life is out to get you, it's an unfortunate time. Maybe you're losing, someone you love, or, maybe you're losing your friends, or job's just not working out. Something to the point where you don't feel like life is on your side. Realize that this is a level up. This is a contraction in your life. Now let me explain. About a month ago, I moved to Chicago, right? I moved to Chicago from my small hometown in Virginia, and I learned a lot out the gate. I lost a lot coming up here. I lost a girl I was with. I lost a lot of valuable things that I moved with. I just had a bunch of misfortune out the gate. And I sat here and, I really thought about it for a minute on like why these things was happening to me. What was the true purpose of the things I was going through? And what I came to grasp is that, God was showing me that I was on a new path, and I had to lose a piece of myself in order to gain a piece of my future, right? And how that happened was, as soon as all this was happening, I just felt an urge from God to be called back to Him. I immediately got a Bible that like my grandma had given me a couple years back, and I just opened it up and I just started reading it. And then as the days went on, every single day I would hit my morning routine. I would do my normal 5-4-5 method every single day. You guys see this on my Instagram. If you're not on my Instagram, follow it. I post every day. And I started incorporating the Bible, and I used to could not read it at all. But now I read it every single day. And I'm in touch with my higher self, and I can feel it. I can feel the tension every single day. I can feel the energy. I can feel the motivation to keep going no matter how difficult the work gets, right? I'm managing clients. I'm running a different business. Like, I'm running pretty much 3 businesses right now, and I'm doing extremely well, and like everything's, shaping up in my life. But it's like I lost a lot as well, and the stress is just at an all-time high, and it's made me question if it's worth it. Like, despite how much money you make, despite any of that, stress will make you question your worth on this earth. So throughout all this, I know here in 2 to 3 months, I'll be in the position I've truly believed in for the past 2 to 3 years, but I have to go through a bunch of suck to get there. I have to go through a bunch of like sacrifice, a bunch of sacrificial work in order to obtain the blessings that God has for me. And I want you to implement that into your life. Maybe if you're like dealing with a bunch of stuff right now and you don't understand why it's happening, what the purpose is, what the intention of misfortune is in your life right now, odds are you're in a contraction phase and you're about to level up. It just depends on how willing are you to suffer for just another day, to just show up tomorrow. How willing are you to be putting in the work when you're not seeing the results that you want? I'm nowhere near where I want to be in my coaching business. I'm nowhere near the amount of people I want to see, reach who they have always dreamed to be. I was on a client call with one of my clients today, and he was talking about how he hasn't felt this way in 4 to 5 years since he was in the Army. How he hasn't felt the mental clarity, how he hasn't felt the energy levels, the divine presence inside of him to be led by God. And all of this has came from his mindset, nutrition, accountability. Showing up every single day has led him to become back to his best version of himself, even at an older age. You can come back. You can. No matter how far down you are, no matter how bad you feel, no matter what circumstances are being thrown at you left and right, you have every little opportunity on this earth to come back. But it all starts up here. Every little thing. All right? hard-working fool will always win over an experienced genius with no work ethic, right? Work ethic will take you places where talent won't. And this is something I want to touch on real quick. I know this video is not really about this, but if you can just master the idea of just being like actually psychotic about work, you will make it. I promise you. Throughout my entire life, I felt like I had ADHD. I felt like, I wasn't the smartest kid. I felt like I just couldn't grasp the things in school. I felt like I just had a lot of misfortune. I didn't have my parents. I felt like I had ADHD, didn't like school, didn't like any of the career paths. But what that showed me was I had to work 3 to 4 times as hard as everybody else to get to where I wanted to go. All right, that's what that showed me. But it didn't come overnight. All right, so if God is testing you right now in your life and testing your ability to show up when you're not seeing any sort of result, because trust me, there's going to be times where you don't see no results, where you genuinely are like, what am I doing wrong? And that's not even the fact of like, I'm not saying that you can't improve at the skill of whatever it is. All I'm saying is sometimes you just have to try again. Sometimes you just have to keep showing up and track metrics every single day. God's given you metrics. You can track your mindset, habit, training, nutrition. Once you get those in peak state, then you can hit the level that you want. But end of the day, man, it's like you really have to push through misfortune to get to where you want to go. You really have to sacrifice every little bit of your being to get to that dream state that you dream of. So, biggest thing, man, is you can't lose the battle mentally. The second you lose the battle mentally, you're cooked. You're done. So, I hope this video resonated with some of you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe. Book call me for elite one-on-one coaching. If you haven't, make sure you look at my results, message the clients in those results, talk to them about their experience. I don't want any of you guys joining without seeing what I'm really about with coaching. So, love you guys. Keep working. Stay hard working. Keep the tenacity in your blood that keeps you going. Love you. Peace. We out, fam.